what kind of loser talks about high school all the time?
Well,
Grow up, dude.
I think that it's your villain, villain origin story.
My villain origin story?
Have you heard that before?
Please explain.
Have you heard it?
No.
The term? Oh,
I've heard it from like Marvel, like when Peter Parker sees that guy and he's like, I'm not going to help him. And then he ends up shooting Uncle Ben.
So now the phrase has been kind of reused in a way where the villain, it's kind of amazing, right? It's like, how did this amazing character come to be? How did the Joker become the Joker? How did Poison Ivy become Poison Ivy? And I'm thinking about you in your essentially superhero costume as this like hyper feminine, talk show host who has, who's doing a lot of smart things, saying and revealing a lot of interesting dynamics and things about politics in our world. I want to know how that person came to be. And so I do think that high school was your villain. Just like how when you were a kid, wearing pants. So if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to, obviously.
I wouldn't say my villain origin story starts with high school. I think it starts with I think it starts like early ages and just having like, if you come out of your mother's womb and you open your eyes, you experience racial constructs, like against your will. Of course. Like who wants to, but just like babies do, right? Yep. Like, so it's not that it happened at 14, my life changed. It was more so that like every single stage of my life has expanded my understanding of like American culture. I feel guilt about advocating for what I want, but I'm not gonna not advocate for what I want because Joe over here is gonna get it for free. Yeah. Like he won't even have to advocate and he gets the gig. So it's like I have to be really tenacious.
So you basically do it because you're out of survival.
I do it. To be a woman that exists, or a gender non-conforming person that exists, is to be constantly like bombarded with the fact that you are other, you are different, and you're not good enough. And what I like to do is I like to say, wow, that really hurts my feelings. And then I like to say, I'm going to do it anyway and really push forward. So that's been like my main, that's my practice. But I wouldn't say like, I wake up every day and I'm like, I'm so confident. Right. Everyone loves me. I've never been so strong. Like that's not a realistic painting of who I am, but I don't let like external opinions like that like mess with me because people really tried it. It's a good book.
Hey, that's how we became friends. Yeah, you read my book.
Yeah. I thought it's a good book. I thought it was a good book.
Was, by the way, the #1 promoter of my book.
I sold that book.
She sold that damn book. The first time we went to dinner together, there was
Tell the story.
This is my favorite story.
It's a wild story.
This man approached us.
Who might listen?
I don't remember his name. I did unfollow him on Instagram.
Yeah.
But he came up and he asked to take a picture.
Yes.
And you were like, you can take her picture, but you need to buy 40 copies of her book.
No, that's not what happened. It was he was like, you take a picture. I'm like, buy a book.
Oh, that's
and then
right.
And then he was like, I'll buy 10. And then I said, buy 40. Like
you
flex on us.
Specifically said 40.
Yeah.
Because then what happened is he was like, oh, okay. He got really excited basically because he was like, this is amazing. They're engaging with me, whatever. And the thing that was so painful is that you can only buy 30 books on Amazon. So we had to watch him check out with 30, then go back, then check out with 10. Yeah. But he did get his picture and you sold 40 books for me, which it was in the pre-sale days. And that's what counts to the New York Times bestseller list. So it's really important.
Okay, shout out.
So thank you so much.
Okay, so when I release my book, we have to go to the club and we have to get the cuties. I
will get a banner.
Yeah, get a cutie to get a book.
Bottle service.
We're at Lavo talking about who want to buy our book. 40 books. So on the one hand, it's like, okay, to be like Black and conscious means that you're in a perpetual state of rage.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do with that? Okay, I have to go to Kmart. I still have to go to the grocery store and get my snacks.
You couldn't survive with that rage. You have to do something with it.
I have to direct it in somewhere positive, but you don't have to. Some people, if you want to stab someone, I get it. Who am I to judge? First. I'm not a judge.
Retweet.
Just don't do it on camera. I'm not endorsing stabbing. You know, Nicki Minaj has a quote about it where she says, like, when Lil Wayne asks for the things, he's bossed up. But when I complain, I get the pickle juice. And she like leaves like a photo shoot or something like that. And so I try to really be like, I really try to not lead with that projection so I can like get to the point. Like Toni Morrison talks about how like the most annoying thing about racism is the fact that it wastes your time. Like you have to you're not starting at 1, you're starting at -10 because you're just convincing people that you're of value. You firstly have to get to the place where you're of value. You have to get to the place where you're good enough to write, good enough to act, good enough to whatever, good enough to do accounting. And then you have to convince people to open the door for you. It is like survival. A lot of my skills are purely survival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting to realize that though, because you are producing things that aren't just, it doesn't feel like you're just surviving. It seems like you're thriving.
I'm flourishing.
But it's interesting to realize that so much of the root of your work is about survival.
Because my work is for me. And like, I'm really, really fortunate that there are people in this world that find it entertaining and enjoy it. But fundamentally, it is to like heal the wounds that I have. It is to like tickle the funny bones that I have. It is to like open the doors that I want to open.